Hi, welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show, the show 101. They said we wouldn't make it. I hope you're doing well. How have you been? I don't hear from you enough. Write to us at contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com, you son of a bitch. Because we'd like to hear more from you, not just the Ask Kevin. Larry King game, we have a winner this week, so a t-shirt's going out to one lucky son of a bitch. I'm going to keep saying it. And we have a tremendous guest today that I'm unbelievably excited about, and I'll tell you why. You're not buffering. That was... Sammy.
Hey, buddy.
You played in the big WPT Celebrity Nonsense Tournament thing.
In the invitation. You also had an invitation, but you were busy. You could not make it.
What if I accidentally do well, and then I have a show to do, and I can't?
That would have been terrible.
So, but you went.
I went.
And fortunately got knocked out.
Very
Otherwise,
early.
you wouldn't be here now.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, was Richard kind there? This is what I want to know. Did he say hello?
Hey, Dave, what have I folded? He
Oh
was there.
God, what have I folded?
He was definitely there.
Did you tell him that we talked about him at the game Tuesday night?
Non-stop. We spoke of him non-stop at the game. He was flattered and humbled. I don't know why Kevin makes fun of me like that. He does that voice. It doesn't sound like that.
I did it like maybe 2 hours.
At least.
During the game.
At
I
least
wouldn't
2 hours.
stop.
Yeah.
In fact, Dr. Bob said, I had a really fun time, but listening to Richard Kind at the table for 2 hours may have been my favorite part of the evening.
Yeah.
Because I can't stop once I begin. I did it twice. I'm making. George. That's my favorite when Hank Azaria does it. He just goes, George. Because he and George Clooney were roommates. We have such bizarre shit to get to, I don't know where to begin. So let's start with our sponsor. What? Yeah, that's right. We got ourselves a sponsor. The fine folks at the Nautilus. They sent over, there's a brochure, there's pages, there's a DVD. I don't have time. So what we did was we put together a little ad. We shot something, some of it informational and entertaining, and some of it just downright stupid. But this way we can say, look, we did a thing for you. And then we can cash their check. So let's start by rolling that, and then we'll talk more about it. Check out your lower thirds on the screens if you're interested in ordering one of these fine beauties. This machine really is pretty damn amazing. I was on it to shoot the commercial, and... well, I feel like I'm 40.
Aren't you 40?
Nope. Oh. Let's roll it, please.
Hello. How are you? I'm here to tell you about Bowflex Tread Climber. Oh, this is exciting stuff. The machine is called the Bowflex Tread Climber. The Tread Climber combines the motions of a treadmill, a stepper, and an elliptical into one. Beautiful machine. It's 3 workouts in one fluid motion. You can't touch it, folks. All you have to do to lose weight is walk. That's it. Wow, walk. Bowflex recommends just 30 minutes 3 times a week. That's it. Ooh, how great is this? Bowflex did a study at Adelphi University that showed the TRC can burn up to 40% more calories than a stepper, can burn up to 2 times the calories of a treadmill. Wow! These are 2 ways to request the treadmill info kit. There are 2 different ways. What's in the info kit, you ask? I hear you. The full-color glossy brochure that describes the Tread Climber's unique motion 3-in-1 design, available models, financing offers, etc. Also, a free DVD so you can see it in motion and learn more about the machine. And finally, bonus. Ooh, bonus. We love bonuses. The Bowflex Insider's Guide, which includes a free fitness assessment, 6 weight loss secrets anyone can use to start losing weight today. Forget yesterday. We're talking about today. Info on nutrition, superfoods, and more. Hey, did I mention it was free? Enjoy your Bowflex Tread Climber today.
How about them Bowflex? Ain't that something? Ain't that marvelous? I tell you what, I want to get one of them machines. Oh, man. I had such a good time on the machine. They said, just keep going. And I said, shut up. But I want to thank Bowflex. And if you are of mind, You know, I recently spoke on the show about losing 12 pounds myself, which is not a lot, but for a little tiny Jew, it is. And it turns out eating less and exercising more is pretty much it. There's no secret. There's no mystery. It's all bullshit. But if you're looking to exercise more, this Bowflex thing is pretty damn fantastic. And that's all I will say for the amount of money they're paying. All right. It is time to turn you on to something that a former guest of the show, a wonderful talent, actor, showman of stage, screen, and perverse mind, if you follow him on Twitter, Steven Weber, who's got a big birthday coming up, huge number. Oh my, not important which one, 50, and he emailed me 5 MP3 clips from Bert Lancaster, I think from the 50s, doing like a podcast of his own, but just really rambling. And we're going to load up one of them for you to listen to right now. There's no visual, I'm afraid.
The original podcast.
This was, I'm sorry, we got to talk about this afterwards, because I think I thought Bert Lancaster was crazy. Okay, so in the background you'll hear someone scatting. That is also Bert Lancaster. And then Bert Lancaster talks, and he tells a story. He tells a story of a young actor who was giving him a massage, making a few bucks on the side.
Put it off no more, please.
Play this.
When I was a boy, growing up in Harlem, I was living hand to mouth. In search of nutrition, I frequently went through neighborhood garbage cans, scouring them for any and everything. Cheese, stuffed derma, chitterlings, and so forth. Years later, while making my movie, The Swimmer,
Years later, while
I
making
gave
The
some
Swimmer.
advice to a struggling actor who was making spare change, giving me rub-downs between shots. I said to him, "Kid, never stop looking for the cheese at the bottom of the trash can, lest you develop a calcium deficiency and knock you flat on your ass." I enjoyed making The Swimmer. Later on, made a film called The Gypsy Moths. Not so good. Got paid in cold.
Oh my God.
Not a good movie, but I did it for a lot of cold, hard cash.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Can't thank Steven Weber enough. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really. Our
that's-
guest said, "Is that really him or is that you?" So, but yeah, that's really him.
That
That's
is
really Bert Lancaster. He's lost his fucking
up
mind.
there with the Orson Welles outtakes.
Yeah, Green Giant. I'll go down on you if you can tell me how to read.
Wasn't
this.
Green? Oh.
Did you have something, Jamal?
Bird's Eye?
No.
Jamie said something about.
It was a woman's name. There's something. I'll look it up, but no, it wasn't Green Giant. No, it's going to kill me.
Okay.
It's going to be one of those things where in the middle of the interview I'm going to scream out
Oh yeah. My guest will be in the middle of a great story, and you will scream out the name,
the name of the piece.
and we'll come right off the rails.
Swanson?
All right. So thanks to Steven Weber, and happy birthday to you in
March 4th.
3 weeks. I think it's the 12th.
It's the 4th.
Well, the day may be the 4th. Party. Anyways, happy birthday, Stephen, and thank you for sharing that. I'll bring another one back next week. It's going to be a regular thing on the show until we've exhausted all 5, because I couldn't be happier. Speaking of great guests, we've had several, just all of a sudden, we were at dinner for the Valentines at my favorite restaurant here in Smele. Is it Moses Stereo or Stereo Mozza? Can never remember.
I think it's
Mario Vitale's place. It's fantastic. And so run into Rob Reiner. Yes, I'd love to come on the show. Peter Weller. Fucking RoboCop. Yes, I'd love to come on the show.
Brilliant.
And then Oscar Nunez from The Office. Oh my God, is this really happening? Boom, boom, boom. I'm getting all these emails, getting all these text notes. And then John Cusack on Twitter says, "I'd love to do Kevin's show if he just asked me." What? Fuck John Cusack.
Oh, and then my Adam Richman.
And then I reached out because I heard Adam Richman may or may not be a fan if you love Man vs. Food, which we do.
I do.
And Jamie just wants to pass out in his arms in a food coma.
No. I want us to have like a Lady and the Tramp moment where we're like both eating a hot dog, and then like whenever it gets to the last bite, then we fight over it.
Instead of kissing, you fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I want it
part.
to
That's
go
part
like
I like. So Adam Richman's a fan. He's going to come on. And then we go to a brand new restaurant in town called Craig's, which I cannot recommend more. It is swanky and fantastic. Who do we run into? Show the photo of the guests I just booked. Here's my home number, Kevin. I'd love to come on the show. Yes, it's Larry fucking King, who apparently does not know we've been mocking him for 2 years on the show.
Awkward.
Awkward. And I can't wait to show the sizzle reel of past guests doing the Larry King game should His Highness decide to actually show up. Here's my number. Call me. Well, come on. So we'll see. What time do you do it on Sunday? 3. Well, I coach my son's baseball.
Plus, he's got to be in bed by 5:30.
How is he coaching baseball?
And then he makes the early bird at the hometown buffet.
Yeah, and then he's got Nate Nels.
Right.
So we're gonna set that up, and I can't wait. I'll keep you posted. But I asked the audience to chime in with their own Larry King game, and we have a winner this week. Do we not, Kenny?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a winner this week. I don't see it. Now I see it. Oh, it's under the guise of, did I miss? I fucked up the order. That's on me. I own that. We're going to do Ask Kevin first, but we're skipping ahead to Larry King. And this one comes from Dan Lehman. Larry King game, for my guests, and for those of you who are interested in playing in the future. 3 rules. I want a bad Larry King impression. Takes all the pressure off having to do a good one. Give me a bad Larry King impression. And then act out that moment where Larry shares something about himself that none of us really want to know. And then go to the phone if the name of the city is funny sounding. It's helpful. This one comes from Dan Lehman, who got himself a T-shirt. Dan, we're going to need to know what size T-shirt you'd like so we can mail it to you. I just found out I'm retired. I've been replaced by somebody named Piers Morgan. I could have sworn they told me to get a new set of tires and pierce my organ. So now I have a nice smooth ride. It hurts even more than usual when I pee, and I'm out of a job. Pahrump, Nevada, you have a question. Thank you, sir. That is lovely. That's your example of the Larry King game. Please send in yours to contact@KevinPollocksChatShow.com. And now it's the time of the show, right before we get to our guest, finally, that we like to call Ask Kevin.
Ask Kevin.
I swear to you, she did not say ask.
She did.
Kevin. She did. She said ask. First one comes to us from Cadet Zachary, Genisski. Sorry, Cadet. Dear Kevin, which of your movies would you call your worst? I know there's a bunch, but just give me one. If you have trouble thinking of one, I would accept I've never been in a good movie and my cameo as the guy with the weird eye from Wayne's World 2. Very respectfully, Cadet Zachary, I'm glad I fucked up your last name. I've discussed many times on the show that possibly my worst film is Juana Man, but I would actually venture to say the first film I was ever in that nobody actually knows about, called Million Dollar Mystery. That was so horrible, it opened up on a flight from San Francisco to L.A., which is only an hour, so you had to have a round trip to see the whole film.
I made a
I'm still waiting for the laugh, Sam. Hold on.
Oh, sure.
I'm holding for the applause break now. Sorry, what?
There's a chameleon, hoods outside Ozona, the sex monster.
Hoods, how dare you?
3,000 miles to Graceland.
People like 3,000 miles of Graceland.
Do they?
There's no...
Head injuries?
There's no...
Great. Nagrin just said he liked it, which clearly means it's a shit
There you
movie.
go. All right. Stop. All right, this next one is from C. Cullen 405. Are you going to get William Shatner on the chat show since you did his Raw Nerve? Yes. Yes. Quid pro quo has been assured. We don't have a date yet. Yet another fantastic guest we don't have a date for. But check the calendar. We've got some great ones. Lauren Graham coming up next Sunday. And, oh boy, there's some good ones. So yes, William Shatner's actually coming. And it will possibly be one of the signs of the apocalypse when the two of us face off at this table. And the last from Ask Kevin is from Josh_Sigurdsson. Hey, Kevin. I was wondering if you could say happy birthday to my mother. It would mean a lot. Her name is Linda. No, I can't. All right, if you want to write letters to Ask Kevin, it's happy birthday, Linda. It is contact@KevinPollocksChatShow.com. And we thank you for any and all efforts you make to contact us there. Having been a fan of 70s rock and roll guitarists like Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and Rick Derringer, I admit to not being an early disciple of the raw energy my guest today introduced to a music world that had not seen his particular style of guitar prior. In fact, I completely missed the explosive beginnings of the punk rock scene as my shit was still being blown by 70s rock bands Led Zeppelin, The Who, Faces, and to a certain degree a blues piano player singer named Elton John. So I didn't really know much at all about until my research the last couple of days began, which revealed that those in the know knew my guests take no prisoners licks by name, and that name was the Steve Jones Sound. He and his bandmates, Johnny Rotten, Glenn Matlock, Paul Cook, and Sid Vicious, at a time when the so-called strangest rock acts were Bowie, Iggy, and the Stooges, and the New York Dolls, put a serious titty twist on that theatrical glam rock scene. So much, in fact, that they are often given credit for introducing punk rock to the world at large, but at very least received props for having been one of the greatest impacts on its birth, and will forever be synonymous with punk's enduring presence in music. As I mentioned, I missed that whole scene. 6 years ago, however, it was my own newly found love of alternative or indie rock that led me to discovering the latest incarnation of this music legend that is my guest today. I was a fairly new fan of a radio station here in Los Angeles at the time, Indie Rock 103.1, and when I tuned in for the first time shortly after the noon hour, I heard this absurdly relaxed voice inform me that it was, in fact, a little bit after 12 bells, followed by his gift of melodically, that's a word I'm not familiar with, melodically whistling while playing what I assumed was his acoustic guitar, followed by a song he played from a British musician from long ago named Rolf Harris. Like thousands before me, I was instantly hooked on this nutty genius who was just fucking about and sharing his personal favorites from the rows upon rows of vinyl from nearby record store Amoeba. So naturally, when a mutual friend, the benevolent bear Josh Warner, asked if I would like to have, like him to invite the host of Jones's Jukebox to this table, I said, "Fuck yes!" And I am now profoundly pleased to welcome Mr. Steve Jones. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sorry for all that.
That was a mouthful,
I went on
wasn't
a bit. But thank you very much.
It's good.
Indeed. Yeah, I wanted to sort of own the fact that, you know, I was lost in a different world of music.
That's good, because most people don't.
Right. And I thought it was kind of important to
Yeah.
come clean about that. Because my questions come from research, but also talking about how I discovered you on the Jonesy's Jukebox. I mean, I remember being at, I think, a private party at Gabriel Byrne's house.
Yeah.
When you were, again, fucking about with Michael and Mick, I think in a band called The Usual Suspects.
Right.
Yeah.
We used to play it in Santa Monica,
Irish
on
pub.
St. Stephen's, Green, on the Stevens, on the Green.
Yeah.
On a Friday night, yeah.
And so I remembered that, and someone saying, "Dude, that's the fucking guy from the Sex Pistols," and I went, "Holy fuck!" But it really was this sort of newfound, I guess, phase of one's career that started 04, 03, 04?
The jukebox?
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Right.
6 years ago.
Right. That I became a little obsessed. And
I remember you come up to me in Nobu once.
Yes.
And you were raving about it.
You were with Piven? No. Let's hope it was someone better than Piven. Oh, no, it was Mark Wahlberg. Excuse me. You were sitting with Mark Wahlberg.
Was I?
Pretty sure. Oh, no. He
No.
was with Piven.
He wanted to sit with me.
Right. That place is a little obnoxious with the name dropping.
Yeah.
So forgive me.
Yeah.
But I did come up to you there and introduce myself. I was only hoping that you would remember. But yeah, I got kind of obsessed with the show, man. And like a lot of people, completely and utterly freaked out when suddenly when I turned on my indie rock, there was a fucking Mexican song on.
Yeah.
And I said, "Dear Christ, what happened?"
Yeah.
And I thought, he's fucking with us. Steve is fucking with us.
I wish.
And then wouldn't have that been brilliant?
Yeah. Yeah.
So apparently there was a lot of warnings that they were going out of business for quite a while, and I missed them all.
A little bit, yeah.
And then it went to the interwebs, and then it became, you were on the Rogue.
I Am Rogue.
I Am Rogue was
Yeah,
a version, and then now on K-Rock, of course.
Yeah, on once a week, Sunday night,
Right.
7 to 9. All new music, basically. I'm not clowning around as much as I used to do.
By choice?
Yeah, I went to them and said, look, let me do a show where I'm just playing new music. You know, because I knew they wouldn't go for the Rolf Harris, you know.
Really?
It's a different audience, K-Rock.
Yeah.
Completely different. It's young kids who have no idea.
None. No, but they seem to love the alternative and the indie rock. I mean, the station it doesn't seem as devoted as 103.1 was.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Because it's more diverse and potentially more commercial.
Yeah. But it's a fine line, you know, radio really. You know, you can, you have to repeat them same old songs over and over again.
Which is what drove you mad to begin with.
Yeah, but I mean, even indie, their format, the songs they play them over and over again.
Yeah.
Other than my show, which I'm just doing it all myself, but you know, it's all programmed. All radio's programmed.
Yeah, it used to be by program director.
Right.
Who had incredible taste.
Right.
At one point.
Yeah.
And would have such a great song selection that you didn't mind them repeating.
Right.
And then radio in LA, as you've pointed out and reading some of the past interviews, it was just the same fucking 12 songs over and over again.
Well, especially now, the way money's a lot tighter, it's all about the bottom line. No one can really afford to go out the box in case they're going to lose, you know, a few ratings here and there. You know, it's so down to that. You know, there's no room for like goofing around, which is actually a miracle that I could actually be on K-Rock and still pick. I'm the one picking the songs. I'm not a voice just in the.
I don't know that anyone else is doing it in the country. Honestly,
Yeah.
that literally says, all right, here's 2 hours
Yeah.
on a commercial radio network that is extremely successful. Whatever you want to play.
Yeah.
I don't know that exists.
Yeah.
Really. So.
I think most people, the mainstream public, I don't think they care. They're driving around, they're flicking channels. You know what I mean?
They want to be.
They just want a noise in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something familiarity is like what relaxes people, I think.
Yeah, but what happened when you first started doing the thing on indie rock was it became like event programming to the point where people like me were like, all right, well, so every day at noon I need to make sure that I'm near radio because I want to hear what the fuck he's going to say today.
Right. Well, that was it. It was all a fluke, you know. It was a real fluke. Like,
yeah, in fact, I'm curious where the first thought came from you, because my understanding is that you were out with a bad back.
Yes.
And a guy from Maverick Records, a bloke that you knew from way back.
When I was with Maverick, with a band called the Neurotic Outsiders.
Right.
He was their radio guy, and, you know, a few years later, him and the guy who was the program director, Michael Steele, I don't know what they said. Oh, we need some faces on here to get this station going. I don't know what they said. But I just got a phone call. And prior to that phone call, a mate of mine said, check out this new station, 1031. All they're doing is playing old punk music, and it's great, and there's no commercials. And I thought, oh, that sounds good. And I started listening to it, and I thought it was great. It was such a relief, you know?
Yeah.
And I was immediately excited about it. And then 2 weeks later, came the phone call, are you interested in doing something? I said, I want to be a DJ. It just came out of my mouth.
It just came out of you.
I just wanted to be a part of it because I was excited about it, you know?
But you hadn't had any thoughts prior to that?
No thoughts of being a DJ in my life before.
Or even when listening to this new station?
Yeah.
It hadn't really come in as a thought until they called up and said, we hear you like the show, we'd like to involve you somehow in the station.
Yeah, I don't know what they wanted me to do, but I said I'd like to be a DJ. Maybe they wanted me just to do some voiceovers,
Probably
I don't know.
do an appearance, a couple of IDs. If we could just get Steve Jones' stamp of approval, seriously, at that point, oh my fuck, that'd be great for them.
Yeah.
And you said, I'd actually like to do a regular thing, and they probably shit themselves.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So they come over my house, I was still in bed with a bad back, and he said, yeah, we could do this. I said, the only things I want to be able to do in order for me to do this is play what I want and say what I want.
Yeah.
And they said, okay. I had no concept of how radio worked at that point, you know. I had no idea about the ins and outs of it.
In fact, very early on, you actually sort of became famous at the startup of this career as a punk rocker, as sort of having your way with a presenter, as they're called in England. The very famous encounter with Bill Grundy, which, you know, in reading it, I'm thinking, I'm going to assume that he looks back on that like the guy was being an asshole.
He was.
Completely and utterly. I mean, I read the transcript from the interview.
Drunk asshole.
Yeah. And he was like prodding towards the end of the interview, and finally you were just basically saying, Seriously, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And but use the term trotter, was it?
Rotter.
Rotter.
What a fucking rotter.
And I'm googling the hell out of rotter, and you know, my understanding was you pretty much hit it on the head, and the guy was being a jerk. And
Yeah.
but it apparently no one had called him out on his shit before, live on television.
Well, if you see a lot of footage of like early footage of like Rolling Stones or Beatles with these guys interviewing them, they interview you in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Caustically.
Yeah, you're just nothing, and I'm the interviewer, and they're trying to put you down in a way, you know.
Get away with it.
Yeah, and that was the way people interviewed you back then, especially blokes like him.
And it's one of the reasons that people remember the Beatles saying things funny on occasion, because they were either at a news conference or some host being an asshole.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to have it, and you weren't going to have it.
Yeah. A lot of bands would. They would just swallow whatever that's given to them. But you know, if you're
well, for those of us who've been interviewed at radio stations throughout the country and/or world, and it's been parodied in so many movies now. I think that Harry Shearer did it in Spinal Tap, playing the local DJ of some stations, and he's flipping all the discs or the cartridges.
I believe it was in Wayne's World 2.
Wayne's World 2.
The aforementioned.
Wayne's
World 2.
Work that I did.
He was. That's right, Handsome Dan.
Handsome Dan.
And
he's pulling other cartridges and he's saying, "So tell us about yourself. You're on tour." And
I know. You just kept going.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We've all had those assholes who could care fucking less.
And still.
Oh yeah.
On radio, definitely there's them guys.
In fact, when I have a project coming out and they say, "Would you mind doing a radio tour?" It's as if they're saying, "Would you mind if we peeled off a layer of your skin?"
Yeah.
And just laid you down in some lemons.
Yeah.
Because it's 50 of these in a row, or 20 if you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Of those.
Them guys who know nothing about you.
Didn't do any research. What the hell is this thing you're doing? And like,
yeah, just keep the ball rolling.
Oh my God, is this really happening? So you, for no reason, even to yourself, said, you know, if I can play whatever music I want and kind of fuck about and do and say and whatever, other than cursing, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, I love doing it. You know, I've always liked to play music to people. That's you know, I get off on, listen to this, you know.
Yeah.
That's a big part of was kept me going to do that, and you know. And
but I imagine it also helped you find a new found love of music once you had this responsibility.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was the reference I made to being at Amoeba every other day, walking up and down the rows.
Yeah, I was in there as well, a lot. But yeah, it's I was doing nothing prior to that.
You had a back injury. Was this from playing football or no? Fucking about.
It was from spinning.
Stop it. You said that because you don't want to be arrested by the homosexual police? what is this?
He didn't want me to hear. He glanced at me and then covered his mouth as if I wouldn't hear.
Spinning. You're not proud of the fact that you were spinning?
Well, you know.
Yeah, sure. You came here on a Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
How proud could you be on?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So you were spinning, and but
and I overdid it, like I always do everything.
Yeah.
Became obsessed with it. Would do it like 6 days a week. Never stretched. And one day, my back just started going and going. And even when it was going, I was still trying to do it. And finally, I couldn't move.
Right. It's supposed to be a pretty intense thing.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't have a spinning sponsors, do you?
No.
Yeah, it messed up my knees.
Really?
And my back. Yeah.
Horribly.
Yeah.
All right. So when the spinning sponsor calls, one of these,
right out.
Right?
A lot of people swear by it, but I don't know, because you do a lot of up and down, and I put a lot of pressure on your knees and and the back, you know. But like I said, I never stretch. I like being stiff.
Does that come from being a footballer for many years?
That was a joke.
Yeah. That was a joke. You liked it.
Was it? Was that a joke?
I was just that guy. I was just that guy glancing at my notes and missing a wonderful joke. You son of a bitch. But no, I did want to talk about the being the footballer because your team is still Chelsea. I have to assume because that doesn't change. That's for life.
Well, yeah, and that's if you do, you're a real tosser if you change teams.
Tosser, one of my favorites. Have you never known anyone that changed teams? Because I didn't think it existed at all.
I'm sure there's a few.
Because, here in the States, it's like...
They do it here, don't they?
Well, it's weird because you'll get these people in L.A., and everyone, of course, is from someplace else.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right.
And they go on and on and on about their team from New York or Chicago, wherever it is. I think it's Adam Carolla who actually goes crazy on these people, eventually saying, you're not in Chicago anymore. Seriously. Love your team and shut the fuck up about it. We did this. We did that. But that's what the love of the team is. It doesn't ever leave you. It can't ever leave you. It's in your DNA. I'm originally from San Francisco. I've been in L.A. about as long as you, 27 years or more now.
Yeah.
I've stepped foot in Dodger Stadium twice because I hate the Dodgers that much.
Yeah.
And I was only there once because my Giants from San Francisco came to town, and another time Tony La Russa, great manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, insisted that I come to the game. But that's in my DNA to hate all things sports-wise Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's not even logical. There's nothing. So I have been very curious because if you're not raised with soccer or football, you see it on TV. When the United States started to do well this year in World Cup, I was like, oh, God, please don't do well. The rest of the world has just stopped hating us from the Bush years. We cannot do well in this fucking thing. We don't need the rest of the world hating us because we did well in this game that's fairly new to us. Thank Christ we got out. But I started to sense, you see the riots, I'm on the outside. I have no clue what it means to be a fan of this particular sport.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be different.
It's a bit different in England. There's definitely a hooligan element with most teams.
Right.
But what they do now is they arrange a place where they're going to meet and kick the shit out of each other.
Before or after the game?
Before normally, or after, wherever, away from the ground,
Literally.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to fuck each other up anyway.
They call each other. No, this is where we're going to meet, and then they go and just beat the shit out of each other.
Do they bring weapons?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's nuts. I don't want nothing to do with that.
But you may have?
In the past, when I was young.
Yeah, it's a young man's game, the beating up.
Yeah, but there's some old blokes that still do it. They still
course.
get off on it, They have shitty jobs, and it's like they're high for the week,
They strap on
Yeah, it's crazy.
and head on down to the park.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy that they do that, but yeah, it's they don't do that as much in America, right? I mean, they hate, but there's not like real physical violence a lot.
No, if you, Jamie is a big hockey fan, and she took me by introducing me to hockey. We went to a couple of games back to back as her team, the Penguins, had come to town, and they played at Anaheim, and then they played LA. And in Anaheim, we outnumbered the fans of the Anaheim Ducks because they weren't doing terribly well.
Yeah.
And a couple of people, I was in line at the concession, somebody saw me in a jersey I was wearing, because you openly wear the jerseys of the other team, or sweaters, they call them in hockey, and said, why are you guys here? That was the worst it was going to get, he was just curious. The local Anaheim fan standing in front of me going, why are you here?
No, that wasn't the Kings game. The guy asked you why you were, as you were standing in line to get sushi at a stadium.
Exactly. But the Kings game I was going to point out is that the fans wanted to kill us. Wanted to really bring us physical
They stole
harm.
J-Mac's terrible towel.
And they took the terrible towel
And then
out
that
of
one guy
J-Mac's
tried
hand.
to dump a drink on my head.
Yeah.
Were you sitting near them?
Yes.
Maybe that's why.
Oh no, but
But that's the way it is though. Everyone's like spread up, right? There ain't one end and the.
And that's what I was going to ask. When it comes to football in your homeland, it seems like they don't sit anywhere near each other.
Well, no. What's different in England? I mean, you can travel. America's a lot different. There's not going to be a lot of fans going from LA to New York to see an away game.
Right.
It's so far and expensive. But in England, you can get anywhere, on a train in 2 hours. So you get away games. You get a lot of away fans going, and they get allotted one section in the ground. Each team, each stadium has an allotted where they put the away team, so they're not all, because it would be not good.
So they're in like a dog pound.
Yeah, they're in a section, you know.
And how many people would you say are allowed to populate that area? Like a tenth of the stadium?
Yes, well, let's say most stadiums are about 30, 40,000.
So they give them...
They give them like 3,000, 4,000, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
But you still love your team like crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm very disappointed in them lately. They're not been good. They're not doing good lately. But Chelsea's my team, but...
I notice sometimes you talk about how a lot of times the coach cares more about everyone playing than winning.
Yeah, well...
That's been a problem in the past.
Yeah, well, you get, you know, coaches, if the teams don't do well, I guess it's the same here. If they lost like a bunch of games in a row, they'd probably get rid of the coach and get, you know, someone else. So, do they do that here in American football?
You got to lose an awful lot to get fired.
Yeah.
But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think the guy we got now, Ancelotti, is an Italian coach. I think his hands are tied because Abramovich is the Russian billionaire who owns the company. I think he's starting to poke his nose into...
We have that here.
The coach, and it ain't working.
No.
You know, and when it comes down to the bottom line, you got to do what he says.
Jimmy Jones comes to mind, walking on the field.
Poking his nose in something he knows nothing about. You hired a guy...
Mark Cuban, another great example.
Cuban, yeah.
Of these owners that come in and tell the coach what to do.
That's it. And that causes big problems because they don't know what they're doing.
No,
they think they know what they're doing.
Of course they do. That's why they bought the team.
Yeah.
Because they think they know the game.
Yeah, yeah. And then you get a great coach, someone who's reputable, won a bunch of things with other clubs, but you don't let him do his job, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening right now with Chelsea, and it's kind of it's not good. Not good.
It's frustrating as hell. That's what I'm sensing.
Yeah.
What did you think of some of the people I mentioned? Well, let's going back to the music, the Jeff Beck, the Jimmy Page, the Rick Derringer. Those were the rock guitarists in the 70s that had captivated my attention.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck, where does he size up for you?
I love Hi Ho Silver Lining, that track, and I love the solo in it. Do you play guitar at all?
No, just absolutely like this, when it's being done correctly.
Yeah. He's a great guitar player, and he was a big fan of Hank Marvin, Hank Marvin. He was the guitar player in the Shadows. You ever heard of Shadows? Mm-hmm. They were like an English version of the Ventures, and you know, the Shadows was an instrumental band that backed Cliff Richards.
Right. I think that's why I've heard of him.
Who was an English teen idol. Who basically was England's version of Elvis. You know?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, he's a great guitar player, Jeff Beck. You know, some of it I don't care for, but he's good. He's good. But I love the solo in that one song. I think that was his only hit he ever had on a commercial level.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever really.
Yeah. I hear he's got a big cock too.
Let's hope.
That's the word.
Is he in fact the big cock guitarist that I guess every profession... Could someone please let us know?
A regular Milton
Let's go
Berle.
to the questions. Milton Berle to the comedians.
That's right.
I think Eddie Izzard was in here insisting he had the smallest cock.
Was he?
Comedians.
Was that Izzard, not Kevin Smith?
Have you? I'm curious about your take on comedians as well, because we talked a little bit about Ricky Gervais very briefly before we went on. But boy, Eddie Izzard's pretty amazing too.
Yeah. I've played football with him, Eddie Izzard.
In the Hollywood United?
Well, we had this little 7-a-side over at Santa Monica Airport there on a night. It was like a co-ed, but it was organised with refs and all that, and we played on the same team, yeah. He didn't wear high heels though, he had proper boots on, but
yeah.
He's all right.
Have you seen him live?
I did actually. I saw him at the Tiffany Theatre on Sunset years ago.
Was Robin Williams also there? Because I went one night. We're going to get him. Sorry to drop the names. But I saw him at the Tiffany. That was the first time I ever saw him.
When was that? That was like 9 years ago?
Easily 8 to 10 years ago. Yeah.
He was great.
He seemed to be working on something there.
Does he still wear
No,
heels?
we saw him when he was at Nokia, and he came out in jeans and a blazer and had left that behind. We talked about it briefly when he was here. He did hold the record of 2 hours and 31 minutes as a guest on this show.
What was the deal? What was the deal then with the women's clothes?
As in why?
Yeah, and you don't do it now.
I think if you were to ask what the psychological reason was that he took to it, it would be a mother issue with his own mother. Not someone else's mother.
Yeah.
But he's been heterosexual his whole life, so it wasn't a sexual
Straight,
thing.
yeah.
Prefers the vagina, is what I'm saying.
But maybe it was just a way to get in the door, you know. Oh, the guy, who wears women's clothes.
No, I don't think it was a hook. I tried to get that out of him. What if it was a creative hook?
Yeah.
This is my niche. I'm going to be the guy that dresses like... Yeah, it turns out he's not Dame Judith.
Dame Edna.
Dame Edna. Who's Dame Judith? Oh, Dame Judy Dench. Dame Judy Dench.
Dame Judy Dench.
Judy Dench's fish and chips.
Yes. Judy Dench's fish and chips. Dame Edna. Yeah, it's not that. It really is. There's a. It's the. It's the thing that I need to be in women's clothing thing. And
but
then
not anymore.
And then he finally said, "I'll do it on stage because this is who I really am." Which, listen, as a way to start a career, that's ridiculous in terms of building an obstacle for yourself.
Especially in some states in America.
And he said when he first came to America, it was everyone said, you can't do this. You can't do this. We don't care how important it is to you. You can't do it. And anywho.
I find him very
So you
funny.
find him very funny. And
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais?
And him.
Boy, is he funny.
I thought he was brilliant on the
Golden Globes.
Golden Globes.
Me too. If you're going to do that job, take the piss out of everyone.
Well, that Golden Globes is a real... It's all about kissing ass anyway. The whole thing is a joke.
Completely.
You know.
And
he was just calling them on it, and no one really got it.
No.
Or didn't like... I'm sure everyone liked it as long as the joke weren't directed towards them.
You're 100% correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're making fun of the asshole, pretentious prick sitting next to me, you're hilarious.
Yeah.
Whoa. You looking at me?
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's bad.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what was happening. Even Robert Downey, who's unbelievably cool about this shit, kind of went on stage and said, this is feels like a snarky
I was
evening.
disappointed that he actually did that. Of all people, waking up in strange kids' bedrooms.
But you know, he does have the greatest comeback story, maybe in cinematic history, in terms of one's career. But
I love him. He's great.
Yeah, amazing. But you're right. My feeling was he, of all people, also would be kind of a guy who would go, this is a great and unusual thing that Ricky's doing, and we should all kind of relax our sphincters a little bit.
Yeah.
That was what I expected.
Yeah, I think once he started, everyone was worried, oh, when's my turn?
Yeah.
And couldn't relax then, you know.
But yeah, the Golden Globes, I've been yelling and screaming about it. There's like 74 members.
Yeah.
You need about 39 votes to win.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
And for years, they were the one award you could literally purchase.
Yeah.
Please come to this party.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's some amazing drugs and cash. Yeah.
Exactly.
But as it turns out, if you want to have famous people turn up to something, give them an award.
Yeah.
Because we're all still
egomaniacs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And as soon as Cary Grant shows up, you got yourself an award show.
Yeah.
And now they keep on coming. I like to involve the audience. That's why I'm glancing over here. This one comes from the Twitter @Cockamamie. Question for you, sir. Would love to hear about Jones's experience with Neurotic Outsiders and playing the Viper Room during the late 90s. Care to share a little on that, sir?
Sure.
All right, good.
It's like one of them sex things, isn't it, where they want you to ask you to do something. Now put your ass in the air.
Yeah.
Now cock this leg up.
For me, it's do it as Christopher Walken. Yes, I do know what you're saying. I'll ask the question again. Would you? No.
Yeah, the Neurotic Outsiders, for those who don't know, and I'm sure most people don't because it was a short-lived thing, was me, John Taylor from Duran Duran, Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, and Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses. And it started of Matt wanted to put a little band together to do a benefit for someone, I don't know what it was for, at Viper Room, and that was the 4 we put together, and it was good. And then we started like, oh, well, let's do this every Monday, and we started doing that, and we'd get guests up like Iggy Pop and Billy Idol, and we started writing our own songs, and then we got a deal with Maverick Records, Guy O'Siri.
Sure.
He came down and he signed us for $1 million.
Jesus.
Yeah.
For a group that just kind of got thrown together.
Yeah.
This is insane. And this is the mid-'90s, late '90s?
It was 90, early, about 94.
Okay.
About 94.
When the people still had money.
Exactly. You wouldn't get $1 million pesos now. But, yeah, it gives $1 million. We cut a record, and the record's, it's a really good record. I was doing, we'd all I'd sing about 6 songs, Duff would sing, John Taylor would sing a few, and then we'd always get guests up. And it became a thing Monday night at the Viper Room.
At the Viper Room.
Which is not hard. I mean, it's the same size as this room.
Yeah, no, I've been there. It's not a big room.
But it was a vibe. It was a good lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But then we Sex Pistols had to do a tour
in '96.
In '96.
Yeah.
And that's our big tour. Never played together, since we broke up.
Right.
And so I was doing that. It was a year tour, and halfway through the tour I had 3 weeks off, and then in 3 weeks we went to Europe and did Neurotic Outsiders gigs, and came back and did it, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
And then Axl Rose was saying he wanted to do Guns N' Roses, and them guys kind of went that way, and we just weren't there to promote it, and then it just kind of fell on its arse. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It must have been. It must have been great fun, especially to start off just sort of getting together for the fuck of it and for a charity. So everyone's like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
And then it ends up feeling good to be on stage together,
Yeah.
which you never know.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the bizarreness of chemistry when that sort of works for music? Because I'm not aware of it at all, and I'm genuinely curious, because I know about it in stand-up and I know about it in acting. Because we're going to talk about your acting as well, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know what it's like when that weird lightning in a bottle thing happens. Speaking of the usual suspects, if you need proof that that was lightning in a bottle, you needn't look any further than the fact that Stephen Baldwin's really good in the film. And that's all the proof you need that it was lightning in a bottle. So what is that like when you're on stage and you respect everyone's talent, and you've seen them play with their own bands, in the case of Duran Duran or Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
But then you come together for the first time, and was there a rehearsal period before this charity event?
I think we rehearsed once, yeah.
Right.
Just put a few songs together, covers.
But I don't imagine the chemistry, or I'm guessing, does the chemistry happen really until you're on stage? And then if it's lightning in a bottle, it really happens in front of an audience, not fucking around at a rehearsal.
Well, I think the audience know if there's chemistry or not. I don't know if the band know,
You take it from their energy that they're giving you.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, their feedback, whatever. If they're going nuts, you're like, shit, I guess we're doing something right.
Right. Yeah. Everyone could play really well, which is important. There's nothing worse than playing with a drummer who can't play.
How about it? I do have a friend, the fabulous Adam Hans Feniger, who is devoted pretty much most of his life to punk rock. So I text him and said, he texted me saying, enjoy myself today, talking to you. And I said, all right, you're Mr. Know-It-All. Give me an insightful question. And he got a little snarky and said that Sid, not the best bass player in the world, and in fact, often on stage, the amp would just be turned off.
Yeah, he had great hair, though.
He had unstoppable hair.
Yeah.
Truly unstoppable hair.
He had a good look.
But just fucking worthless.
But that ain't his fault.
Okay.
Because we hired him when he couldn't play guitar.
You knew?
Yeah. He got slung in the deep end. He was a fan. He used to come to the early shows.
Right.
He actually was the one who kind of started that pogoing, which I never understood. because he claims he couldn't see over the guys in front, so he kept jumping up to try
Couldn't
and
see
see
over
what was
you?
going on.
He couldn't see over you.
He couldn't. He was in the audience.
Oh, in the audience.
When
I'm
he was
sorry.
a fan.
Oh, gotcha.
That's how it started.
Right.
That's when they all like jump around when you see
right.
early footage, they're jumping around. Supposedly,
Prior to the mosh pit, there was the pogo. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The mosh pit was a thing that started in America. I don't think that was an English thing.
No, it was more Henry Rollins, I think.
And you would think with all the soccer hooligans.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
right.
football.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think it was a more of an American thing. The thing where they all go round and round and beat the shit out of each other.
That's distinctly American.
Yeah. But so was it? He came and saw the.
He was a friend of John's. They went to art school.
Right.
John Lydon and Johnny Rotten. They went to art school together, and he was around. We knew him. He was a face, you know. He was a face amongst the whole.
That was hanging
scene.
around.
He actually. We did this. The 100 Club. That was where it was a famous haunt for punks doing shows there. There was a festival, a punk festival, and he first played. He played drums with Susie from Susie and the Banshees. They were called Flowers of Romance, I believe. They did like 2 songs, and that was it. You know, that's the kind of thing that happened back then. People who just had no idea what was going on decided to form a band, and that was it, you know. But yeah, we snagged him. We got rid of Glenn Matlock, or it was weird the way it happened. I don't know if it was. He was a bit clean, Glenn. You know, he wasn't like. Didn't like getting his hands dirty. He was one of them. He had a normal upbringing.
Yeah, that doesn't fit in at all, actually.
Middle class family. His mum didn't like the lyrics to Anarchy.
Well, there you go.
You know.
We're done with Matt Locke.
Wasn't there a TV show?
Yeah.
Matlock.
Yeah.
Like one of them.
He was one of them geezers.
I'm sure you got some of them accents, right?
One of them geezers, I think. There was okay. I had this written down because I didn't want to forget. Prior to the Pistols was the Strand.
That was a band. That's prior.
Yeah.
To John joining.
Right.
The Strand.
Paul Cook.
Me, Paul Cook, a couple of guys I went to school with.
Right.
Jimmy Mackin, Stephen Hayes.
So was Sid showing up for that?
No.
No.
No, way later.
Right.
Way later. This is before John even came around. This was me singing.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm McLaren, who was my friend at the time, who had, you know, he was the one who had the shop on Kings Road. Anyway, that lineup fizzled away, like, you know, when you're at school.
Sure.
There's, you know, school kid, all of a sudden, like, you know, it just fizzles away. I still wanted to do it, and these guys got bored. They couldn't play, whatever. I couldn't play.
That's what I was going to ask. When you first started singing, were you already playing the guitar? Because
No.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of it's from the dossier says you've been quoted literally 3 weeks before our
3 months
before our first gig.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it sounded to me. So I remembered it as 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 months is just as absurd.
Yeah. Did a lot of Black Beauties in that 3 months.
You're saying you stayed up for 3 months to learn the guitar. You're saying you stayed awake.
Well, it gave me attention speed, my attention span.
It gave you focus.
Focus, that's the word, sorry, yeah.
Holy shit.
So I'd wake up, pop one of them, and I'd be focused, you know,
Yeah.
for hours. I didn't know what I was doing. I barely knew what chords were, but I would play along to records.
Right. And if you could mimic the sound.
Yeah, just, you know, and speed, you know what it's like. I don't know if you've never done speed. You know, like you'll wash something for like 2 hours, one little bit, you know, and that's what it was like with the guitar, and it would give you that focus.
Right.
You know, and then we'd take Mandrex at night to help you sleep, which is equivalent to a lemon.
Uh-huh.
You know what a lemon is?
No, sir.
You don't?
Quaalude was the first one I came across.
That's a lemon.
Ah, a lemon.
714.
Yeah.
You know, remember they had 714
Written on them.
Lemons. They'd have written on them.
714 lemons. I remember the 714.
Yeah.
I also thought I remember the 714 was the badge number on Dragnet. I thought that was a strange connection.
Ah.
Yeah, Quaaludes pretty much were the answer at the end of the night for a lot of people at a certain point. So you're literally turning off the amp when Sid's playing because he had great hair. Fuck it, let's let him do this.
Well, at this point, when he first joined, he had his bass up there and he was really trying to learn, you know. And
He probably couldn't believe it. He went from the audience to the stage. He probably couldn't believe how great this was.
I never got that impression that what did he? Was he like, I can't remember if he was like, oh, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. I never...
Because I'm trying to think of it in contemporary terms. You've got a fan of your band who's jumping up and down because he can't see over people in front of him.
Yeah.
He just wants to see the band. And he comes to several shows and then gets to be in the band.
Yeah.
Mathematically, if it's just on the inside, he's pretty fucking psyched.
Yeah, I guess so. I never really thought of it like that.
Maybe it was part of his MO to play it cool.
Yeah.
And he had that amazing hair.
Yeah, great hair. Yeah, he was great looking guy, you know. He was the, you know, him and John together had that Mick and Keith thing. I didn't look like that. My hair looked like a hairdresser's. I didn't have that look, you know. They had the perfect look together, the Mick and Keith.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there's no reason to dwell in the house of yesterday.
I had the Mick Taylor look. I was the Mick Taylor.
I was going to say you were the Mick Taylor.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I kind of, not pushed to one side, but if you didn't know anything about the band, you looked at them and you saw them two standing together, you would go, okay.
They were the focus pull.
Yeah.
But by their own design, or so it seemed to me.
Yeah.
You seemed, I mean, I've watched footage.
I had thick hair. I couldn't make it spiky.
No, it wasn't spiking for a second.
No, it was a lot of hair.
There wasn't as much product back then as there is now.
No, I know, and you couldn't. I tried ironing it once.
Did you really?
Literally tried to iron it to
No, you didn't.
To straighten it, yeah, and it did for a little bit.
Until you smelled something burning.
It didn't. I don't think it's good for it. But yeah.
Yet it's quite a bit of it survived.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Not complaining.
Yeah, one of us is wearing a hat. From the chat room, Vince and Dory asks, with the 10-year decline of the music industry, I'm already asleep. With the 10-year decline of the music industry in both sales and relevance, are you of the opinion that the industry is getting what it deserves?
Well...
Or is it just Steve Jobs doing with iTunes?
Well, it's definitely it was a Caligula event there for many years where people were just getting paid way too much money, you know. And I don't know about who is getting what it deserves, because them people who had the money have still made a lot of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? The ones who made the bulk of it back in, since prior to the last 4, 5, 6 years, since it's all completely in the toilet.
Right.
I think the only ones who are suffering really are if anyone, is new bands. How can they make money, to play music,
right.
So
a lot of them are putting out albums online from their own websites.
Yeah.
And doing an end around.
Yeah.
I mean,
and them guys who we're talking about, they're still around. It's just it's all in a smaller thing now. All them labels, a lot of them have merged, and they're still there, like Universal. Mm-hmm. There's still some of them big shots who was around. It just ain't the Caligula. There's a lot of people who've got fired. 5 jobs. You'd have someone to wipe your ass, and you have someone else to, do your hair, and you'd have someone else to do that on a photo shoot. Now that one person does it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it just ain't the money.
Right. Your take on Richard Branson from back in the day to today?
Well, he's done all right for himself.
Holy shit. I did a private gig on his island for what turned out to may have been, a Russian mobster.
Really?
I did not know at the time.
Yeah.
I was contacted to perform a corporate gig Oh, corporate gigs.
Yeah, yeah.
Who doesn't want to do a corporate
Yeah.
gig? Ridiculous money.
Yeah.
We'll fly you out to Richard Branson's island. Will you? And we'll pay you a ridiculous sum.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then I start to ask some questions. You'll see when you get there. I'm not good with I'll see when I get there.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a straight performance. You're going to actually be there a couple of days. Sorry? Well, there's this really rich guy, and he's from Russia, and he's just throwing himself a birthday party for a couple of days, and you'll host like a volleyball tournament, and you'll do a thing, and then they reminded me how much it was paying, and I said, all right, well, I'm certainly curious about what Richard Branson's island looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
So for no other reason than, again, the shit ton of money.
And you're still here.
I'm still here because he spoke Russian. We didn't have to talk. Apparently, he wanted someone from the usual suspects there. And Stephen Baldwin wasn't available. I don't know. I'm assuming. I'm assuming they went to Baldwin first. I would have.
Because he didn't come up to you, I'm a big fan.
Couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
There was no English being spoken. So there was a lot of nodding like, I know who you are and I'm very happy you're here. And I said, I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to take the money and get the fuck out of here.
Maybe he thought you spoke Russian from Avalon.
Right? Yeah.
It's a logical jump.
Yeah, of course it is.
Did you have to do a lot of things? Like,
turns out
I was busy.
I was kind of able to do very little. There's a volleyball thing I have to host. And then I would show up, and there was a coordinator for every event who was on the island as well, was keeping things moving along. I think really the guy just wanted to get laid and threw himself a party for 2 days and made sure there were enough women there that would be around him. And then there's some allegedly famous guy also there. So you could go, look, do you believe movie star? You know, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah.
So the hosting the volleyball tournament thing was kind of bullshit.
Yeah. And Richard Branson, it's just his island, he weren't there.
Oh, you rented it out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of Richard doing well for himself, yes. But Virgin as a music label...
What now?
Originally.
Well, they was actually in bad shape when they signed the Sex Pistols. They had Steve Hillage, all these like hippie bands, Gong, like just these weird, you know.
Couldn't tour. If they can't tour, they can't make money.
But he did have that big album Tubular Bells.
Holy
Mike Oldfield.
I cannot listen to that.
Exorcist, right?
To this day.
Yeah. So he made a lot of money off that.
If anyone ever wants to scare me, seriously, just for no reason at all, have Tubular Bells start playing in the background, and I will fucking run.
Kenny, can we get that?
I will literally fucking run.
I was doing that because a couple birthdays ago, Kat got me the creepiest gift ever.
Yes.
It was a antique baby's rattle from
Baby's rattle.
turn of the 1800s, like the turn of the century, the 1800s. It's the creepiest thing ever. And I was chasing you around the house playing Tubular Bells with this rattle.
She did, and it wasn't funny. And the rattle looked like it was made out of the baby's
Oh,
bones.
it's the creepiest thing ever. And now somebody else gave me an old doll's hand, and now the old doll's hand is holding the rattle. I don't know why it hasn't
Old
strangled
dolls
me.
are really spooky.
Aren't they, though?
Oh my God.
How do you feel about clowns in general?
I don't like that.
I just love it when someone sincerely says, I don't like clowns.
And
They're spooky.
and like Disney World, when you're getting big people, you know, Magic Mountain, you know, Disneyland, you get the big people in the big outfits coming close to you. When they get too close to you, I kind of get vertigo. It's like the weirdest thing.
You don't care for the big,
It's
the
weird.
walking around.
Yeah, and the clowns. Who was that one? Richard Speck, was it? Was he a clown? No, that was the other one, the serial killer. Who's the serial killer?
Oh, Gacy.
Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
That's not creepy at all. And in fact, that goes a long way to fuck with people who hated clowns already. And then you find out, oh, great, this guy's eating people, and he's also,
But he never did it while dressed as a clown.
But
it's important to point that out.
Yeah. He was very strict about making sure there was a difference between his personal life.
He had his hobby and his profession. Never the twain shall meet.
That's right. My hobby is to be a serial killer.
That's right.
And my work is very serious.
Very
Do they spook you, clowns?
They don't. They don't. I mean, old baby dolls for sure, especially if there's a little dislodging of eyes.
Yeah.
That's not good for me.
Yeah.
But Tubular Bells, and I'm.
It comes under that. The Tubular Bell comes under Old Dolls, right?
Yes.
In that same kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did well with the guy who
Mike Oldfield
All right.
was the guy who made all that music on Tubular Bells. It's actually 2 songs. They're like 20, 30 minutes. It's 2 songs.
Holy shit.
And they're like 30 minutes long, each song. It just kind of goes on and on.
Wow.
And yeah, and then we couldn't get arrested after being thrown off EMI and A&M. I think we were with them for about a week, and he had the street smarts to see it as an opportunity and signed us, you know, when everyone else was scared of us.
Well, that seems to have been the mark at some point. You sign the right acts, and that's pretty much...
Yeah.
You have that intuitiveness, or you don't.
Yeah.
In that particular trade.
Yeah, no, he's a smart guy.
Are you enjoying the Twitter? I follow you, and I couldn't for a while. I thought that's not really him. Someone on his staff is tweeting for him.
That's my assistant.
And then a few times it seemed to actually come from you, because certain phraseology. Is your assistant also British?
The spelling probably gave it away.
Well, yeah. Is he trying to write in your voice?
No, I'm just terrible at reading and writing.
So you tell him what to do.
I say it sounds like I'm kind of trying to... Well, actually, I'm not going like that. I'm going like this. I make out that I'm an assistant sometimes.
Do you?
When it actually is me. On Facebook.
Do you?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Because I don't see... For me, I'm just me. Yeah. I don't think I'm any big shot or any, you know, all that. I'm just me, you know what I mean? Sure, I like having it, whatever, small amount of fame or whatever. It's all well and good, but I forget that there's some fans out there who say that this ain't him.
Right.
He wouldn't be on here. Who are you? And then I say I'm Steve's assistant, and then I go on and do a whole bit.
Do you give him a name, the assistant?
No, I haven't, but I should do. But yeah. But then I thought that's a funny thing, so I say all these things. Like I'm on Facebook. I'm Steve's new assistant. I just got hired. He's in the other room in his bedroom. He won't come out. You know, and I get all pervy with it. You know what I mean? It's hilarious. It's good.
That's a good hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You on Facebook? Do you get?
I'm all over the Twitter, but I don't do the Facebook.
It's a lot more work. A lot more going on.
I don't want people from my past finding me so easily.
Yeah.
And thinking that we need to talk.
Yeah.
And my friends all say that I've changed. First of all, they're not my real friends. Show business, those are my real friends.
Yeah.
And also, there seems to be a lot of work with the things on walls and posting and farming.
Yeah.
I don't.
Mafia wars.
Yeah. I don't have the time. Really.
No, I got no time for all that.
Yeah.
You know.
But I can't. The one thing I could never bring myself to do is to call up a restaurant as my own assistant and make a reservation for myself.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to make. You know, any restaurant they'll take anyone who shows up now.
Really?
Well, there's no. It's the economy. You know, you don't. I never.
But this is Los Angeles. There are a few places, I assure you, that are very full of themselves.
Yeah.
And they'll say, we don't have anything. And then I'll have my assistant call and say, you know what, just go ahead and say you're calling for actor Kevin Pollak and let's see what happens. It just happened last week.
And it was.
Yes, it was me.
With Jason Antoon. Jason says, we're going to dinner.
I thought you used Nagrin's name.
I did use Nagrin's name. I didn't say I used my own.
Oh, okay.
And it works?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Do you ever go in the palm?
No, sure.
I got my face is up there.
Are you on the wall?
That's a sign of success.
Yeah, that's right. When your face is on the wall at the palm.
In the palm.
Yeah.
You've made it.
They've been asking me for a photo for a couple of years now.
Really?
Send us a photo, Kevin. We'll put you on the wall.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, no.
You should get it and put it by a table, and you could sit at the table.
Can I tell you my problem with it? I have a friend who's allegedly in show business, and his face is on the wall.
And he's a nobody.
And so I'm like, if you're going to put him up, you've ruined it for me.
Well, just make sure you're well away from him.
Do not say whose face it is, Jamie.
I whispered to Sam. That was it.
And Sam's in stitches. Look at him.
Stitches.
Sam's never enjoyed himself so much. But
That's great.
Be kind, please.
Well, you couldn't say, like, can I be farther away from that bloke? I want to be on the other side.
I don't want to be in the same restaurant.
Nowhere near them?
That's my problem. But now that I know you're there, it maybe cancels out the annoyance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Palm. It's still rock solid. It's an institution.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them too.
Do you like, what's your favorite steak in town?
It's the lamb chops.
Oh, my bad. The lamb chops.
That's what I like.
Fava beans?
That's it. Fava.
Uh-huh.
Fava beans.
It almost sounded like you said father.
Well, that's how you say your father.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing a Cockney accent.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I was doing a Cockney accent.
You have no idea. It's all I can do not to break into it. It makes me crazy. Jamie earlier today said, "Are you going to do voices all day?" Because all day I was doing them. I was walking around the farmer's market today. A woman walked past with the coconut. Have you had the coconut oil? The fresh coconut
No,
juice?
it's water. It's coconut water.
Coconut water
In
from the coconut.
with the straw,
They take the top off like it's a pumpkin.
Yeah.
And they let it sit there. And then there's a straw. So the woman walks by with one of these, and I know Jamie loves this. And I'm at the farmer's market at the bottom of the street there where we live, and I said, I'm going to get one of these for her. And I'm walking up and down, and now I'm talking to myself. Who do I have to fucking blow to get a coconut?
Get a fucking coconut.
Yeah, it's absurd. And then I came home and brought it home with the voice, and she
It's
said,
so aggravating.
"Are you going to fucking do voices all day?"
People,
and
I can't tell you. It's the worst. He does these voices all the time. It's like I'm living with a schizophrenic. It's horrible. And then you were also running up and down the stairs screaming, "Where's Kenny Chen? Where's Kenny Chen?"
I did.
And I'm like, we'll see Kenny in a little bit.
We were getting ready for the show, and I had to go upstairs to shower. This is Dr. Kenny Chen over here, one of our producers. And I just started screaming, "Kenny Chen!" I think I just freaked out Emily with the sound.
Wow.
It's also a little racist.
I was going to say, that's a little old-timey there, that Asian accent.
I didn't say...
Do you two appear on do you come on the screen sometimes, or you just
Yes.
invisible?
We are, that's our camera right there.
That's why I was talking into the camera.
Oh, okay, there you go. Look.
There you go.
All right.
We weren't just interrupting for nothing.
Did I foolishly not introduce you to...
No, I met him. I
Just
didn't
before?
meet you beforehand, did I?
That's Jamie,
Hello.
my...
I'm glad we're doing this on air.
She's our head writer and my better half.
How are you?
I'm in love with
Howdy.
her. You get your own, if you don't mind. There's another thing we do on the show that involves the audience that's called a Tweet 5. It is a rapid-fire question, Coke or Pepsi, this or that, no correct answer, kind of thing. Your opinion on, your take on things. And they're written by the audience specifically to you. They're personalized, if you will. Dave Keckner, the wonderful funny man, says, I like Tweet 5, so I'll do this.
T5, T5, T5 forever now.
I'm pointing over here because there used to be a monitor there that our guest could see, and now it's not on.
Not working this week.
So this comes directly to you, sir, again from @Cockamamie, God bless her. Sleep naked or with PJs?
Just briefs.
Early riser or late sleeper?
Well, the older I get... Oh, is it just a quick yes or no?
No, you can please elaborate.
The older I get, the earlier I get up.
Right?
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Oatmeal or pancakes? Neither.
Not really.
You like to start the day with fruit?
Fruit?
Read newspaper?
Jack Daniels, man!
All right. Charlie's in the trees. Read the newspaper or you get your news online?
Oh, I put CNN on in the morning. I never read. Never read.
Can't stand it.
No, maybe because I'm not too good at it.
Right.
Well, I'm putting myself down. I actually had a tutor about 10 years ago to come over and teach me how to read and write a bit better. Because I never learned at school.
Your dossier suggests you didn't spend a lot of time in school, sir.
I actually did. I just didn't learn anything. I just used to sit out the back and daydream.
Daydream?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just they couldn't do anything to keep your attention, because I had that problem too.
Yeah. Just not interested in anything you got to offer.
Did the teacher seem a little bored to you? Because they seemed a little bored to me.
I couldn't care less. But I used to like going. I had a few mates there, and I used to like seeing them. Mm-hmm. And then I did move from my area, Shepherd's Bush, to Battersea, with about 2 years left at school, and that was a bit. And I didn't change schools. I should have changed schools, but I didn't want to make new friends. So I'd have to get up, and it was like get a train and pass the train to get to the school, and that was a real pain. But and so I would have more days off doing that, But
you took days off.
Yeah.
At what age is this now?
13.
And that's when the crime began?
The crime began. The crime began, like, I guess around 10. Around 10.
Uh-huh.
You know, just thieving.
Just thieving.
Thieving and peeping Tomming.
Well, the peeping Tommy. I'm sorry?
You heard.
Peeping Tomming?
Yeah.
The thieving paid off, though. So much has been written. Oh, my goodness. About, they stole from Roxy Music gold discs and Fuzzbox. Bowie lost microphones and the Spiders from Mars lost their amps. Rod Stewart had a couple of guitars nicked. Ron Wood lost a fur coat. And Jones helped himself to Keith Richards' TV set. Can you confirm?
It all just mingles into one.
Exactly. It was one night, but boy, was it a winner. Let me tell you this. My mother's father, in the States, we allegedly get our heritage from our mother's father and our father's father. My mother's father was born and raised in Leeds. I am therefore half British, according to the American way of chopping these things up. I've been to London about 10 times, never been out to Leeds. I'm hearing working class society, and should I spend a little time there and get acquainted?
No.
That's what everyone says.
It is a shithole.
Dodgy?
It's a fucking shithole.
Is it?
Oh my God.
Is it beyond dodgy?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's pretty. It was an industrial city, I think,
right,
at one point, and I don't think it is anymore. And it's just grim.
Right.
That's a good word, grim.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you might, go there for a day, have a look.
What will I see?
Get in touch with your roots.
Other than grim, what will I see?
What will you see?
I mean, if I'm tracking down where my grandfather was, a house he was raised in, maybe that would be a reason. Because I just picture, from the movies and stuff, I just have this ridiculous...
What do you see?
So, come right in, sir, don't be frightened. The python, it's all... I would show up at a house...
Python.
I would show up at a house where my grandfather was from and raised, and they'd say, oh yeah! And they're cleaning the silverware. Sit down, please! And they would make something for me to eat, and I would die.
Yeah, no, I don't
basically end up dead. And
yeah,
they'd be selling my teeth, and then it would become Dixian, and...
Yeah, no, it ain't like that, I don't think. It's more...
much more real?
A lot more...
Much more painful than
hardcore,
yeah. So one of the other things that I wanted to ask about was you mentioned McLaren. There's the one movie, the Great Rock and Roll Swindle, where we find you playing a detective. And actually, was this your acting debut on the motion picture film? Yeah. So I want to talk about how much you hated that. And then it seemed to be extremely skewed towards McLaren's point of view, how he had basically created the band and took most of the claim of success. And yet it's referred to as a mockumentary, which suggests you were all sort of in on the joke, even though it was laying claim to what he was saying all along, or what he'd been accused of, which is, I'm responsible for creating the Sex Pistols. So then, same director I found interesting, Julian Temple, makes The Filth and the Fury, which allows all of your guys' point of view to basically say McLaren was completely and utterly full of shit. Yeah.
I don't think the Rock and Roll Swindle was a mockumentary. I think we were trying to make a movie like a Beatles.
Hard Day's Night.
Yeah. That's what
it felt
I think what was going on. It might not come across as much as that. But I don't think, McLaren with the lessons and how we were puppets and all that, I'm sure he believed that in some form. But I don't think anyone really takes it seriously.
It seemed like when you were doing it, it was like, oh, this will be fun.
I didn't know what was going on, man. Right. I had no clue at this point. The band had broken up, just broken up. I was getting into drugs, and I really wasn't a happy camper, you know. It was weird. It was a weird time for me.
So we want you to be in a movie, they say, and you go, all right, fuck it, I'll do this.
Yeah, well, it was a plan to do it with the band. The idea was when the band was together, and Russ Meyer was going to be the director.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I was all up for that because I knew there'd be a lot of chicks with big tits in it.
Yeah.
As
was his wont.
Yeah. And, but I don't... He actually shot a few scenes of killing a deer, Bambi. You know, they actually went into the countryside and with this actor, one of the guys who was going to be in it, and I think there's a little bit of that in the Rock and Roll Swindle. But then, you know, whatever reason,
Not enough tits.
John didn't get along with him or something. And you know who was his sidekick? Was the guy on Two Thumbs Up guy? What's his name?
Yeah, he was supposed to write the screenplay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, he
Roger
was,
Ebert.
Yeah, they met with us all, the pair of them, but it just didn't work out. So
Because he wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, the
Right.
sequel. Roger Ebert.
yeah, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He wrote that classic.
yeah.
So you didn't care so much for the acting, but it was a strange and not so wonderful time for you back then.
Yeah.
But did it ever come up again in terms of, you know, that is something I wouldn't mind doing? I mean, obviously you went on to do other things.
Later,
Yeah.
acting.
Like when you did a thing on Roseanne.
Did a few things.
Yeah.
Done a few bits and bobs. To be honest with you, you know, like the kid stays in the picture where he's talking about, I don't want to be the guy showing up, shitting myself for an auditions, and then
Yep.
that's me. I can't stand the process of
Right.
being an actor, you know.
The work is the easy part. It's the pursuit of work.
And
it is the
when
fucking job.
yeah, and then when you get a gig, from that time, from when you get the gig to when you actually do it, can't sleep and, you know, just obsessed and, you know, like a month beforehand or whatever. That whole, I don't know anyone does it. I just, oh, it's horrible. What's it like for you? Do you get that or?
Well, because I started in stand-up comedy, I always had that to do while I was dealing with the rejection and the awfulness of auditioning.
The cattle
I
call.
could go off and be on stage and get all that love from total strangers.
Yeah.
That balanced out.
So you had a confidence anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came to it having not studied acting, but rather been on stage already as a stand-up for 15 years or so before I started auditioning for movies here in
Yeah.
LA.
I did get a lot of confidence from doing Jonesy's Jukebox.
I would think.
A lot. That got me out of my shell a lot, you know.
Because it's interesting. Once you say on a lark, well, what I'd like to do for 103.1 is to be a DJ, and they shit themselves and then say, great, can you start Wednesday? And you said, well, all right. And then, much like I was explaining how I started this, I walked in this room and said, I want to do this, and he said, how soon can you start?
Yeah.
There's that moment of, uh-oh,
Yeah.
now what?
Yeah.
And so before you get on the air and find yourself actually enjoying it, was there a moment of, wait a second, what have I done here?
Well, the first show, it was ridiculous. I had to talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
when they point at you, there's a microphone.
And I didn't have a clue.
Literally.
I was just stuttering around like a fool, you know, but I guess there was some charm in that as well, you know.
Yeah.
But it was weird. You know, you have to fill up time. You have to say something about something.
And it just started as 1 hour.
It was 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday, 1 hour.
1 hour.
For a while.
It eventually went to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it seemed to have caught on fairly quick.
Apparently, yeah.
I mean, you're being told after a matter of months, holy shit, there's actually a bigger audience than we had anticipated.
Yeah.
And then people from the industry are calling up. And suddenly you have guests on.
Yeah.
I remember tuning in. I mean, during the research, I would listen to you talking to McLaren, and that's when I was getting a sense of, wow, McLaren's just going off, and you would afterwards go, okay, great. You're still an idiot. I mean, that's what I was sensing was sort of behind it.
Yeah.
But I remember tuning in, you were talking to Jonah Hill and Jason Schwartzman, and I thought, this is fantastic.
Yeah. No, I had some big shots on there.
And what
Adam Sandler was good.
Was that enjoyable?
He was good. He was good.
And because he was a fan, or somebody knew through
I
somebody?
ran into him up at the Beverly Glen Centre.
Right.
And he was raving, you know. I said, come on. That's how a lot of it happened. You know, there was a period where there weren't people getting guests. It was me just running into people.
Yeah.
You know, very natural way of doing it, but...
And that's one way to find out that you're doing something right, that these people are coming up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who you like or certainly know of.
Yeah, yeah. Want to be a part of it.
But I listened to those, and you develop interviewing skills rather easily and naturally.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. I think.
Because people ask me, are you genuinely curious? Are these questions coming from a place of curiosity?
All right, you this guy.
And are you that guy? But I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, he's not asking questions that anyone gave him a list to ask.
Right.
He's not asking questions that even necessarily come from research. Yeah. He's got somebody in there that he's interested in.
Yeah. That actually makes me nervous if there's questions to ask people. Then it kind of throws me a bit,
You're either interested or you're not.
Yeah.
That's what I sort of sensed.
Yeah. And,
And of course, what that leads to is you run into people.
Right.
You ask them to come on.
Yeah.
They insist they're a fan. They're famous.
Yeah.
Then they come on. You ask them a few questions, and sometimes you realize, this person's not really interesting.
There was about 3 or 4 out the whole 5 years I did it.
That's not bad.
Not bad,
And do you bail on them during the interview or wrap it up?
You kind of wrap it up. What are you going to do?
Thank you so much for coming by, kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is really nice of you.
What are you going to do,
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird when that happens, when it's a yes or no reply,
Right. Yeah, it is.
Like, why do you want to come on here?
Why did you want to come on?
If that's, you're trying to be cool, you're trying to make me look silly.
And some of it, I think, is they're actually more nervous than they thought they'd be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, a reason I asked if you enjoyed the Twitter, by the way?
Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is because we do have a house game here on the show that involves a bit of, it's a game. It's you against me.
Yeah.
We have a host.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. And it's called Who Tweeted? Sammy?
Who tweeted? Roll that intro.
You got it finally?
We got it working, yeah.
Tweeted.
Sam Levine, our very host.
Oh, boy, is this going to be fun.
Yeah? You feel it?
Yeah,
You sense it?
I feel it. I think it's going to be a good game. So, are you familiar with Tyra Banks? Paris Hilton?
The Blackbird, right?
That is. It is the Blackbird.
Model?
Yeah, she was a model. Now she has a show where she hosts like Oprah. Paris Hilton, you've heard of her?
Whitebird, right?
Yes. And then another white bird, Justin Bieber. Surely you've heard of him.
Why would you say he's a bird?
Isn't he? Wait, it's not a girl?
He's just young.
Oh,
He's just young.
So the three of them are all on Twitter. And so we've collected some of their tweets. And I'm going to read a tweet, and then you're going to tell me, you are going to play against Kevin, who tweeted it.
Which of the three?
Which of those
These
three
are for
people?
real. They're real.
These are all real.
100% for real.
Okay.
Also chosen because they're not obvious.
Right.
Just tell you that ahead of time. And then go ahead with the rest of the instructions.
okay.
We got to ring in.
Yeah, you got to ring in, and so you ring in by saying your name, and then I'll point to you, and you have 3 seconds to say either Tyra, Paris, or Bieber
As the answer.
as you answer. Ring in, you get it right, you get 5 points.
Ring in? What do you mean?
Just ring in. Just say Steve.
Me?
And then I'll point
And
to
then
you.
I have to guess.
And you get 3 seconds, yeah.
Okay.
And you're playing against Kevin, head-to-head combat, and you're not playing for shits and giggles
Is
here.
there a cash prize?
Cash prize, $20 US, my friend.
Holy crap.
It's not 20 pounds,
No.
so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's about
That'd be like $4,000.
about 12 pounds. About 12 pounds.
About 12 pounds, maybe.
Yeah.
So there you go.
He's probably good at it. He does it every week.
He's not as good as you think. He's not as good as you think.
Okay.
Are you ready to play? Do you
I've
understand
never
the
heard
rules?
these.
I've got it.
Okay, here we go.
I've
Tweet,
never heard these, and I don't follow these three, so I don't know how they
Okay.
run.
tweet number 1.
Tweet number 1.
I don't love or hate V-Day, but my heart feels for people that feel sad today. Buy yourself some yummy candy.
Kevin, Tyra?
That is correct.
Oh!
That's correct.
So now he thinks I'm good at it.
No.
I got crushed last week.
Destroyed.
All right.
Tweet number 2. So amazing watching Snoop and Dr. Dre perform together at the Interscope party. At DJI, your dad throws the sickest parties.
Steve, that's the boy.
Bieber?
Yeah.
Sorry, no, sir.
What?
Paris.
Paris talks like a young boy?
Paris talks like a young boy sometimes.
Ridiculous.
Who knew? I didn't know.
See, this is the best idea Emily ever had, was to throw Bieber in the mix. Throws it
Emily gets
all.
credit for that?
Yeah.
Good
Totally.
call. Used to be Paris, Tyra, or Demi Moore, and she was just basically writing about one subject. All right, next question.
Tweet number 3. Okay, guys, here's one for you. Which would you choose? A girl who dug in her nose all the time, or a girl who dug in your nose all the time?
What the fuck? Kevin Paris.
Can you repeat that?
I can. Incorrect.
All right.
And it was, okay, guys, here's one for you. Which would you choose? A girl who dug in her nose all the time, or a girl who dug in your nose all the time? And it was Tyra. Tyra Banks.
I wanted you to guess who it was.
Tyra Banks.
That's who it is?
Yeah. Terrible. I guessed, and I was incorrect. And now the game is close.
It's crazy. Tweet number 4.
Tweet number 4.
And I don't single out any fans. I love all y'all. They're all just always here. Like always. Like every time I get off the plane. LOL. All love.
That's got to be the... Steve, that's got to be the kid, the boy.
That is correct. That is the boy, Justin Bieber.
Get it when I get off the plane.
We have got...
I want to squeeze this little kid's head.
We've got ourselves a tie.
He's the singer kid, right, with the hair that sweeps across.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Looks like a chick.
Sure does.
There's like 7.5 million followers on Twitter.
There is a website, I believe,
just under the Gaga.
Lesbians who look like JustinBieber.com.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's a real thing. Tweet number 5.
And we are tied.
My iPhone app is officially here. You will love it. So many great features. Check it out.
Kevin Tyra.
I'm sorry, no.
That's a spam.
That is correct, but who would be guilty of that? Not that it counts for points.
It comes under one of the 3 names.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, it's
Oh, so it's just a guess.
Tyra, Paris,
Just
or
gotta pick.
Bieber.
Yeah. I picked incorrectly.
Oh,
It was Paris.
That's a negative. That's a negative feature. That was Paris.
Yeah,
who wrote that.
you believe that?
God bless.
You're in the
her.
lead, sir, right now.
Commanding lead.
Tweet number 6. Your presence is a present to the world. You're unique. You're one of a kind. Your life can be what you want it to be. Take each day one at a time.
Tyra.
I'm sorry, no.
I would have thought Tyra too. Who would talk like that?
Paris.
Oh, she's full of shit.
That's her assistant.
That is her assistant.
That is probably her assistant.
Now it's tied again.
Still tied. Tweet number 7.
We're both at -1. Because you lose 3 points when you get wrong.
It's all right. Nowhere near the record of negatives.
No, we're
Tweet number 7.
I hold that record.
Sprayed myself with linen-scented cologne.
I'm sorry?
Sprayed myself with linen-scented cologne. Kinda wanna fold myself right now.
Jesus, H.W. Christ.
That's the kid again, the boy.
I'm sorry, sir. That is not.
I do love the way you say that, though.
That was Tyra Banks.
Oh,
Tyra.
man.
Right, it's a tough game.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's really anyone's game still at this.
Is this the last
as
question?
we head into the 8th and final tweet.
Oh, my goodness.
I like the way he just waits and lets... I see. I see how it...
See, there's a little strategy.
I
There's a little
see,
strategy.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I will jump in. I will jump in.
Tweet number 8. Mm-hmm. Paris, the city of love. Good night.
Kevin Bieber.
That is correct. That is correct.
I finally won one of these. You
And
fuck.
your winner of this edition,
Finally.
Kevin Pollock.
Oh, my God. Who would
That's
say
fun.
goodbye to a city? A little putzer.
I said good night.
Good night, yeah. Good night. And
guess
good night
that's
to
it.
you,
Good
sir.
night to you.
Thank you very much.
You get him next time.
Nicely done.
Well played, sir. Well played.
That was fun.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the Hollywood United. This is pretty cool. You play. You were out here how long before you started playing in like a regular organized team effort?
About 20 years ago, I started playing.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
And right away, it was people like who was playing back then?
No one really.
No one, as in famous names, but
Yeah.
friends from back home, kind of thing.
Just English. Yeah, English guys, plumbers, carpenters, whatever.
And it becomes an actual league of sorts.
Yeah. At first, we just used to have a kickabout over at Coldwater Canyon there. Mm-hmm. And we just used to put sweaters down as goals, you know.
Right.
Did that for a while, and then I joined the league a few years after that, and then became Hollywood United, and it's fun. I didn't do it last year. First year I didn't sign up because it's an over 40s league, and I'm now 55, and it's kind of hard, you know, playing. Even though it's over 40s,
Right.
there's a big gap between 40 and 55. You know what I mean?
Tremendous gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it, you know, I need to get. I would love to start an over 50s league. You know, so at least I could.
Even playing field, as they say.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, but there's not a lot. There isn't a league. There's one down in Orange County, but.
Years ago, you played in a soccer six competition at Chelsea with Ray Winston, Vinnie Jones,
Yeah.
Jason Statham. That must have been a kick in the ass.
Yeah, that was fun playing on the Chelsea ground. Yeah.
Your home team.
Yeah, that was a laugh.
That sounds like celebrity.
It was a charity for something.
Right.
Five-a-side. They had a bunch of little pitches going on all at once. They do it every year.
And Vinny had been a footballer.
Oh yeah, he was a pro there.
How great was he? Because, you know, we just hear
Well, he's famous for being
a brawler more than a footballer.
yeah, getting red cards, you know, all the time, getting sent off a lot. He was always like, you know.
Intense, enjoyed to brawl.
Yeah, that was what he was known for.
Because I first became aware of him, of course, in Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah, but he's a good player. You know, I haven't seen him in a long time. He don't play with Hollywood. He's got his own team now. Hollywood something. Hollywood. I can't remember.
And Jason Statham?
He don't play.
No.
No, he's not a good football player. I think he'd tell you that himself. I'm not saying that in a
Right.
derogatory way. He's more of a gym guy. I think he's more of a gym. You know, what do you call it?
Well, he's become an action hero.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best.
Yeah.
And so he has to maintain a ridiculous, I'm sure, physical training
Yeah,
that doesn't allow him the luxury of actually kicking a ball.
yeah,
Probably.
yeah. They probably wouldn't like it.
You have to kick someone's head. They
Yeah.
would rather.
What'd you call it? A lot of gymnasts. You know, a guy who does all the ropes and all that. What's that? What's that guy?
Yeah, it's a gymnast.
Yeah.
You know, the big pole and they jump over it and all that. They have competitions in
Gymnastics, yeah.
gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
I think that's his thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what he used to do.
He's into the gymnastics.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch.
yeah.
Right?
I used to be in gymnastics.
Uh-huh.
Just kidding. I need to lose weight so bad.
Why?
I'm so fat right now.
Why do you have to? Thank you.
Are we doing this now?
I was wondering.
This is the part of the show where we...
We reveal our bellies and give them names. Hers is Henry.
Mine's Henry.
Yeah. So why do you think you have to? I mean, that sounds like there's a part.
Well, I know I would feel better. Vanity doesn't come into the picture anymore.
No, at some point it is about your health.
Yeah.
And your well-being.
Yeah,
And being
vanity used to drive me to go to the gym and be in shape.
Fuck that.
You know, but then the older you get, that all kind of becomes not important. You know, being, you know, I used to do it just to get laid. I wanted to be in shape. Being in shape equals
Vagina.
get pussy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just pay for it.
I see what you're saying. I think we have Charlie on the phone, don't we? Is Charlie there? Charlie.
In the bushes?
I meant Sheen. I meant Sheen, Charlie Sheen.
Oh, he's the brunt of everyone's jokes now.
Isn't
that
he, though?
guy.
He's got to suffer just a little bit. Now, you wrote over here today with a pal of ours, who I referred to earlier, the benevolent bear, I call him now, whether he likes it or not, Josh Warner. A maker of amazing, go to your goodarthollywood.com-ish jewelry. The two of you came over on bikes. How early in your life did this become a part of your life, the riding of the motorcycle?
Motorcycles.
Yeah.
Well, I had one bike in England. I had a scooter as well at an early age that I just decided to take one day. And I actually went to a young man's prison for 1.5 years for stealing a scooter once.
For stealing a scooter?
Yeah.
That's got to bode well with your fellow inmates. What are you in for? a question might ask.
But no, a scooter back then, like they had, you know, the mods and rockers. The mods used to wear. Did you ever see Quadrophenia?
Yeah, of course.
Them scooters with all the, you know, it was a cool thing back then.
A very cool thing.
It wasn't like a scooter now.
Like a Vespa.
Yeah. But yeah, I got put into a young man's prison, Banstead Hall, it was called, and it was in the country, and I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah.
What specifically?
I liked being away from my parents.
Love that.
And I had a great time.
It was a fuck about.
It was in the country. It was a like dorm. It wasn't like a prison. It was like, you know.
Well, young man. So we're talking about kids in their mid-teens.
12.
Yeah, or even
15.
In some ways, it's like a vacation, a country estate.
Well, I hated my upbringing. I didn't like my stepfather one bit.
Right.
He was abusive, and I didn't feel like I was wanted. That's how I felt, you know, as a child.
So this is an amazing escape.
It was I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it, you know. Right. I kept telling myself,
this is better, this is better, this is better. Yeah. So then, after you became a lover of the riding of the motorcycle.
So I was, especially when I came out here, when you didn't have, in let's say 85, 83 is when I first started getting into bikes. I got a Harley Davidson Sportster. You didn't have to wear a helmet. It was hot, you know, and it was fun.
You hated the helmet thing.
I did.
You only had to talk to Gary Busey for about 20 minutes before you realized, you know what, man, I think I'm going to wear a helmet.
Well, he had a big part of that law going through, I think.
Yeah, because he cracked his head like a soft-boiled egg a couple of times.
I think you should be allowed to try stuff, you know, but it's all about money. Because there's a lot of states there's a few states you still don't have to wear a helmet, you know. I think like in Chicago or Illinois, I think in Chicago though, it's a law like there is, you have to wear helmets, but you have to pay more money insurance. Yeah, I'd be up for doing that. You know, pay a little extra.
You're saying it should be a personal choice. It should cost you more. You're only going to do harm to yourself, according to the theory of what might go wrong.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
You are. You're not, you know.
In fact, you'll do more harm to someone's vehicle if you had a helmet on.
Had a helmet on.
Technically speaking, if you're going to ram them.
Yeah.
They would rather you be soft head.
Yeah.
And tail.
Yeah.
Speaking of Harley. That's about the extent of my motorcycle language.
Soft
by
tail.
The way, the soft tail. I can throw
soft tail. And
it's not written down. I came up with that with my own, by the way. I like the soft tail.
Yeah.
Was Josh on his new fancy Ducati?
He is.
What do you think of that?
I've ridden one of them. I rode one of them to Seattle once.
What'd you think of that?
They're nice bikes. I just bought kind of, not the equivalent, well, similar. I bought a BMW one like it a couple of months ago, a few months ago. It's good. I got a bunch of bikes.
Now you do? Mm-hmm. Where do you keep them all?
In my garage.
I need an address.
In my garage.
In your garage? I need an address, sir.
I need a bigger garage.
Do you? Yeah. I'll bet you do.
Yeah.
Have people gifted you amazing guitars over the years? Is that one of the things that happens? Because some of the dossiers suggest that there was a time. Because first of all, I love that you played the Les Paul. I don't know why that became, as a fan, my favorite guitar to see someone playing, but it did very early on.
Yeah.
And there's a great story about, of course, the white Les Paul. But at some point, there was another company that made a guitar just like that design, and you thought, fuck Gibson.
It never did me any favors. Why am I supporting these guys?
Right.
Yeah, I did. Bernie, it was a company like Bernie, Japanese company.
Right.
They made one that looked just like it, but then I made it, for whatever reason, it kind of turned around, and then, you know, because I would do interviews and I'd always put Gibson down. I don't think they liked it a lot, you know, bad rapping them. So, but now we got, I would say a relationship, and then they brought out a signature model about a couple of years ago, Steve Jones signature model.
What's that feel like?
Oh, I don't know. You know, it's good. I mean, you know, But it's like, you know, it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It comes under that bullshit kind of thing, you know.
I have not heard that perspective from a musician. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is kind of bullshit.
Well, yeah. It's like what we were talking about, the Oscars, the Golden Globes. It's the same thing. Two idiots decided they're going to do this thing, and of course musicians, like actors, have big egos.
Right.
And if there's something to show up for, they don't want to miss out on it, and they all show up.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with rock and roll.
No, or it's history, or it's fans, or it's...
It's just bullshit. It's a bunch of kiss ass, and they wanted us to go.
Right.
They inducted us a couple of years ago, and they expected us, if we brought someone, they had to pay a ticket to sit at the table. A guest, you know.
Jesus.
It's all crap like that, you know.
Have you maintained a friendship with John over the years?
Yeah, we talk now and again. Not a lot, even though we live in the same city.
Right.
You know.
I mean, part of your youth was there's a closeness, and then there's a...
Well, being in that band is a closeness, yeah.
Right.
Starting that band and how popular it became in a short period of time, and how, you know, our everyone hated us at the beginning. You know, it weren't just any old band. It was like, you know, it changed a lot of things. And
yeah, they really hated
for you to do that, there's got to be a connection. You know, even if you don't like each other or you do like each other, you still did this together.
Like you shared a foxhole in Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly.
You had each other's backs.
He was a rat.
Right.
Now, what was the guys who used to go down and put the hand grenades? Were they rats?
Yeah,
they were actually a regiment, weren't they?
Yeah.
Called rats. What were they called, rats?
It's either that or something.
I think it was gopher, maybe. No?
Gophers? Something like that.
Yeah.
Some rodent.
Yeah.
But then, like I've never
rat.
heard of a band where they sort of stay close forever in terms of being able to perform together, being able to tour together. So when you had the tour back in the mid-'90s, you know, you guys are all so-called grown up and adults, and you've got your own lives and their own separate lives. And the idea of getting back together probably sounds, in theory, like a great thing. And then the actual doing of it, how much fun and how much work.
Well, the money was good, you know.
Oh, no question.
You know.
And there's nothing wrong, not a goddamn thing wrong with that.
I really hadn't made a lot of money prior to that.
Right.
You know, I didn't really have anything much going on, you know. And that was the first time where we made a serious chunk in one sitting. And
it'll straighten you up in your seat when they say, well, get back together, we don't really want to, yeah, but we'll give you this.
Yeah. And I was, you know, I'd wanted to do it for a while, and finally John said, okay, let's do it. And then, and plus, you know, a lot of people had never seen us before.
All right.
You know.
The majority, I'm sure.
You know, there's a lot of people, like we were talking about, I'm glad that you copped the fact that you know nothing about it. There's a lot of people who go, oh yeah, I was there, man. Oh,
I'm sure.
I was there in the beginning, you know, I saw all the shows, which is all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
Of course.
Most people didn't see it. We did I think originally in the first, you know, in the 70s, I think we did like about 50 shows, that was it.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Last one at Winterland in my home city.
Yeah. I have perfect hearing.
Because you did so few shows?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it drives me nuts.
Because you can hear too well.
I'm at home and I'm like...
What is you can hear crime 16 blocks over?
It's crazy.
You might be a superhero.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You could be the new Cape.
I wish my ears weren't as good. You know?
Don't say that. So the actual doing of it, because I'm thinking sometimes when they say, here's a shit ton of money you've never had a chance at before, you guys get together, John finally says yes. And then is there any sense of, once you're out there doing those shows, that this is a fucking job, not as much fun, or was it mostly fun?
No. It's monotonous.
Right.
You know, we did 100 shows, it was about a year.
Was it 100?
Yeah.
Jesus.
With a little break in between. We went everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
you know, and then it gets to you.
Japan?
You went to Japan.
Fantastic, right?
Yeah, I liked it there, but I couldn't live there. It's good for a little while. The kindness gets on my nerves after a while.
Don't trust it.
Yeah, because you don't really, when you leave the fucking room,
What?
they're saying something else, you know.
That's your
But
sense?
it's a tight ship over there, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
They run a tight ship.
Yeah.
You know.
Precision.
Yeah, I like that about it. And yeah.
100 shows, though.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So after a while, it does become monotonous, and you're not really sure what fucking town it is, and it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
How many cities of the 100 shows were in the States?
Well, we played the US and Canada. First show. Not that many, actually. 10,
Not many at all.
maybe. Yeah.
And it was over 1 year only?
Yeah. I don't like touring. I hate it. I hate traveling.
As a stand-up, I can go out for 1 weekend here, 1 weekend there. I could never do... I'm going to go on tour now for 12 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, are you?
Can't do that.
You're not looking forward to it?
I can't.
Oh, you ain't doing it?
I
You're
won't.
just saying,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't do it. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I can do a weekend here, a weekend there.
I wish we were the type of band that could just have a residency at Vegas, you know? I would love that.
How
to play
great.
Caesars, be at the, you know, the house, whatever they call it, you know,
Yeah.
like Cher does it and
Sure.
Elton John. I wish we could do that.
You'd like to have the Sex Pistols room
Yeah.
at the Bellagio.
Oh, man. You never know. Maybe when we're 90.
Trust me. They were within earshot. Somebody's thinking this is a fantastic fucking idea, and they're doing the math already.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Vegas. People come to me and they'll say, "Why aren't you playing Vegas?" And the quick answer is, there are 30 of the greatest performers on the planet who have their own theater now in Vegas.
Yeah.
Or at one point were the greatest, right?
Yeah.
So you've got Garth Brooks at the Wynn.
Right.
Got his own theater. Every night, Garth's down the street. Cher, Bette Midler. I mean, it's literally a who's who, and I don't know how I'm supposed to sell 500, 600 seats, period. Literally.
Have you tried?
When you've got 30 of those options to choose from, and acts you've never heard of, but there are big, huge names in Vegas.
Yeah.
All right?
Some of them musicians. You see them, the billboards when you're driving in along the 15.
Yeah.
Lance so-and-so. You know, with his facelift.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The magicians are unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's why I love to go see Penn and Teller, just to have fun.
Yeah.
Have you seen them? That's one thing I wanted to ask you, actually. Who are the comedians growing up for you that might have caught your attention? Were there any?
When I was young,
Yeah.
like English comedians, there was a lot. Tommy Cooper.
Python do anything for you?
Yeah, it was
The
good.
Goons before them?
The Goons were before them, not really my thing. Or I just didn't get it. Maybe I was too young.
You were too young, yeah.
Definitely, the Pythons was wacky. Do you think that show on HBO, Funny or Die, they're trying to do
A version?
I don't get it. It's not funny.
Just die?
It's Die.
Yeah.
It's
They're giving you a
Die.
choice. They're claiming to be one or the other.
It sounds like they're trying to be too, we're crazy, you know, and it's not funny.
Sometimes it reeks of effort.
Yeah.
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 Comedy should never smell like effort.
Right. So you get that, right? You know what I'm talking
It should smell
about.
like spontaneity. You just thought of that, didn't you? It should smell like that.
Yeah, right.
Ricky Gervais has such a smooth sort of thing
Yeah.
that he makes it feel like.
Have you met him?
Yeah, we went to see his show at I think it was the Kodak, where the Oscars are. It was a couple years ago.
Can't you get him on here? You need to get him on there.
I would kill to, and if you have any,
I don't know him.
No, you know what it is. This is 101st show, and I haven't talked to one agent, publicist, or manager
Right.
to get a guest.
So you want to keep that?
I won't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So it's
Well, if I see him,
it's a friend of a friend. No, I've had a mutual friend, and one time we met, it was after his show at the Kodak,
Yeah.
and there was a little room where 90 of the most famous people in show business
Right.
were waiting to shake his hand for
Yeah.
4 seconds. And the son, we were talking to the son, otherwise known as Jason Bateman. Jamie calls him the son because if you look at him too long, you'll die.
He's so pretty if you just look at him.
Yeah.
It'll burn your retinas.
And I mean, it really was a crazy who's who. So we got our 90 seconds with Ricky. And so I went to put out my hand, and the way his eyes lit up, as I'm saying I'm such a huge fan of yours, he's insisting as I am of yours.
Right. That was good.
And that was very nice. And then I said, there was one bit you did where you reduced Hitler to one little physical attribute that made him human, and that's why the bit worked. And he went, did that bit for 6 months. They fucking stared at me. As soon as I did this little thing that you just said, the bit works. So because we connected on whatever that was, from comedian to comedian, that was a wonderful moment to share with someone who... and now I'm talking more...
You could get him on it then.
I'm talking more and more to Chris Guest, and they're great friends now. Yeah. So I think... but yeah, there's a certain...
I think he's going to be your 155th guest. $20 on it.
I'm going to write down 155, and that becomes our goal.
Let's start a pool.
Steve, I want to thank you very much. I want to ask you if it feels like you've been here for 2 hours or 6.
Well, I wish I would have worn my incontinent pants.
I warned you. Please pee before you get in. All right. You are literally 90 seconds away from getting out of here.
Any other questions from punters?
You know, I wrote... Jamie, you're insisting that we did not...
I gave you what I had.
Yeah, she goes through them. We had a shit ton, and I'll be honest with you, they were all sort of the same and sort of the shit that was either covered or we're assuming you'd rather not.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to ask me that you don't want to ask me?
That I might have been nervous about asking?
Yeah.
I think when I went to how bad of a bass player was he, and you went right to he had great hair.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't know what sort of history and sense of goodwill, you know, you might still have for those experiences. Because I listened to when John was on your show, and I thought, I'm not sure what the real relationship is here. But my show is really not about tell me something that's going to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for that.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to be on the receiving end.
That was my... I was always like that too.
Yeah.
I don't like to...
Do you have guests on the new version on K-Rock?
I've only had one, Shepard Ferry.
And what do you think about having more? I saw the photo of him in the studio with you.
Yeah.
You think you might have more? Or is it not something...
Yeah, I think it's got to be some kind of relevance, though, to music or the show. I don't think I can just go and get Vida Sassoon on. It's not going to make any sense, you know? No. It's a different thing. It's a different...
You've said that now a couple of times. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good.
I am. I love finding new music.
And the fact that you still get to play whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
As we're saying.
I like to get new music out there from new bands.
People find you at your own damn website? Your own archive stuff?
Yeah, there's Facebook, Jonesy's Jukebox. There's Twitter, Jonesy's Jukebox. There's MySpace, who no one...
It's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, because I get an email every now and then saying, I've friended you on MySpace. I'm thinking, is that a place still? And
but the thing, what crazy about it, that was the thing for a few years.
Oh my God, yes. Facebook said, Friendster, you go fuck yourself, we're it.
Yeah.
And they planted a flag that no one saw going away.
Right.
Until Facebook came
And
Tom.
Tom
Anderson.
Fucking Tom.
He came on my show. He signed me up on Jonesy's Jukebox.
Right on your show.
On MySpace. And then I did it. I interviewed him at South by Southwest. And then one day I was in England. And this bird came up to me. I work for Facebook. It's like MySpace. Yeah, anyway, listen. So, you know, I had no idea
that it was going to
that was just going to disappear, MySpace. You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone did, especially Tom.
Yeah.
Especially Rupert Murdoch.
Will you be at South by Southwest again this year?
I think I am, yeah.
You don't know when, though. People might look for you there.
Well, it's in that week. I don't know, when is it, the 17th or 20th, somewhere in there.
Of March.
Yeah, March, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be on a panel on the 12th, but that's part of the...
The acting bit?
Yeah.
The movie bit?
The acting
bit. Did you go to Sundance? Did you go to Sundance?
I was supposed to go for the Kevin Smith movie, but I didn't, no.
Yeah.
I've been. You been?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what you did. One of the things with Jonah Hill was from Sundance.
Yeah, the I Am Rogue thing, yeah.
Right. What do you
Yeah.
think of that
What, the,
festival?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like cold weather. I don't like being out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know?
At some point, it's about this should be fun and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
know
Sundance is anything but fun and easy.
Yeah, I know it's got to do with getting older.
Also, for me, I don't like walking down the street and having everyone saying, "What are you here with?
Yeah,
Do you have tickets to the?" Every step you take, you're made to feel like you don't belong.
right.
Yeah.
And the swag is
Have you
pathetic.
been over to the Swag House?
It's pathetic, though, now.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like a bag of Kleenexes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's your
Right.
swag now.
Yeah.
You know?
But I remember there was a house. There was the Black & Decker house.
Right.
There was the...
It was proper,
Yeah.
proper gifts, yeah.
It was ridiculous. Go get yourself a new watch. Sorry? Yeah, they go to the watch house.
yeah. Rolex. But only for certain few.
Yes.
You know.
The rest
You
of us
get the Timex. Quinn Martin gets the Rolex.
Quinn Martin? Wow, nice poll.
It's the term I always use for a big shot.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I bought my previous house. Was actually one of the selling points was they said Quinn Martin lived here.
You're kidding me.
Up Doheny above Sunset.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Streets of San Francisco.
Right. Oh no.
The Fugitive.
Quinn Martin Productions.
Yeah,
Jeez,
a QM production.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
All right, sir. I'm going to ask you to do the Larry King game.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're still playing. Okay.
There's your camera.
Yeah.
The rules again. I want a bad Larry King impression.
A bad Larry.
Bad one. I don't want a good one.
Yeah.
And then let's see Larry reveal something about himself that we really don't want to know. That's the uncomfortable moment that I'm actually just asking you to act out, and then throw it to the phone.
You want me to?
So it's like a bumper. So it's like the bad example is Thanksgiving. I like to teabag the gravy boats before the guests arrive.
Oh, okay.
Sioux City, hello.
So I got to do a bad impression
Right.
of him saying something about himself.
That's it. And then you go to the phone. If the name of the city is some town from your youth, it might be funny sounding. Right into the camera.
He goes to the phone?
He always throws it to the phone. Milwaukee, hello. You know, that ridiculous thing that he does.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, this is hard.
This is work now. You're out of your comfort zone.
This is hard.
I feel it. So that's why we like to end with this.
Oh, man. This is
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Your papers? Your dossier. They're your papers.
Yeah.
No, Larry King.
Yes.
Not a Nazi, okay.
Yes. They've often been confused for one another, but not until today did that become apparent to me. There's a reason. Oh, my God. It looks like Goebel.
We ready?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I like to go to Nate Dow's and piss in the chicken soup. Milwaukee.
Thank you, Mr. Steve Jones, ladies and Jews. Bring those paws together.
What was the place you always eat at?
That's Nate Nell's.
Oh, it is Nate Nell's.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right. Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And that chicken soup tastes a little funny. Yes, what?
No, it's really funny.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious, by the way, for someone who was in pain. So thank you. Thank you very much for this, honestly. It means a great deal.
I had a great time.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Do I get up?
Sit there uncomfortably while I wrap up.
Okay.
You're out of here in 90 seconds. I wonder what my crew's been up to for the last 2 hours and 3 minutes and 47 seconds. They've been outside the studio. And I always wonder what it is they're doing, what they're getting themselves up to during the show. If only there was some sort of photographic evidence that might show us. Oh, J-Max out front having a butt.
That's all he ever does is have it on a
Our
smoke
producer
break.
there. Wait a second. He's getting a call.
It's
No,
weird that
he's
car
going
has
on
no
Twitter.
license plate.
He just threw his butt at my car.
Wait.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wait.
That can't be good. Oh, what the hell? My car seemed to explode. That was unfortunate.
That kid destroys everything he gets his hands on. Have you seen his car?
Man. You should call someone at the Lexus
I need to
Corporation.
call the fire department immediately, clearly, because that special effect was real. Thank you very much for that. Next week, the delicious Lauren Graham. Check the calendar to see who else is coming up. My thanks to all the crew and everyone who works so damn hard on the show each and every week. And thank you very much. Go to iTunes for the seasons that you can now purchase for a ridiculously low price. And all the new shows, including today's, will of course remain free until I say so. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.
He's all of the rainbows, but none of the rain. He's dry, but he's an alcoholic. He's hosting this train wreck again and again, and he wears a hat. He's